Oh, that's a good point. Hello to all you Patriots out there in podcast land, and welcome to episode 253 of Canadian Patriot Podcast, the #1 live podcast in Canada. We're recording on August 19th, 2020. Joining me tonight is Benny. Of course, my name is Andrew, and I'll be your host.
We'd love to hear your feedback about the show. Please visit CanadianPatriotPodcast.com/feedback or email us at feedback@CanadianPatriotPodcast.com. A version of the show is available on Stitcher and iTunes.
You can check the podcast out on socialist media at Facebook.com/Canadian Patriot Podcast or on Instagram.com/Canadian Patriot Podcast.
We need your help. To support the show, visit patreon.com/CPP and become a Patreon. You can get a better quality version of the show for just $1 per episode. Since we moved to 2 shows a week, COVID format, patrons also get an early access to the midweek show. Show you're not a communist, buy a CPP t-shirt for just $19.99 plus shipping and theft. Visit CanadianPatriotPodcast.com homepage and follow the link to the right. Always to the right.
And our friendly, regular reminder for the partisan challenge. If you aren't doing 5 things to be a better person, you should probably do those 5 things to be a better person. And then, because I know you all use Instagram, take a picture of it and put it on social media so that we can social media it. Because we want people to do the challenge every day. Be a better person. Because we have 619 more days for reasons. Benny, what are you drinking?
I'm drinking Sleeman Original.
Wrong choice. I am drinking James Ready because I'm broke. That's not true. That's what I had in the fridge. I also have a... Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, that's the best reason to drink what you're drinking.
Cold beer and free beer. 2 of my favorites.
Followed up by room temperature?
I mean, if it's free, I'll take it. Not picky. I do have an related podcast question for you. I understand you were on another podcast recently.
I was. I was on Diaspora Radio, the Diaspora Radio. It's 2 freedom-loving Jews in Alberta who love Israel and love being Jewish and want to talk about the situation that Jews face in the diaspora, as in not in Israel, and Israel.
All right. So people should go and listen to that. And you said it was called The Diaspora? Like you need to include the for it to come up?
Yeah, otherwise, if you just search Diaspora Radio, you could end up getting some African radio station or podcast. I didn't really look into it. But yeah, The Diaspora Radio. It's got a giant mug and David or Star of David on it. That's should be your first indicator.
What'd you call it? A mug and donut?
Muggin David. So Muggin is shield and David is David. So shield of David.
Okay, I thought you called it a mug and donut. And I was like, that's a really weird logo. It looked a lot more like a Star of David to me, but
yeah.
Okay, good stuff. So go listen to Benny on other podcasts. So I guess everybody's making the rounds. I was on Definitively Uncertain. You were on the Diaspora. Wow, that is hard to say. The Diaspora Radio. The at the beginning really throws it off.
I wonder if that's an issue on iTunes because I just Googled it. So it could be it's only on Google and then not an iTunes issue.
I don't know. Let's get into feedback. This is a feedback episode this week, so we read your questions, comments, and concerns. Theoretically, this is like the second week of the month, but I was traveling, so excuses. So we're doing it this week, and next Wednesday will be book club. And next Wednesday's book club is Make Your Bed with, or I guess not with, he's not doing an interview with us, but the author is Admiral William McRaven. So if you haven't read your book yet, you still have time because it's like 20 pages.
Oh, really? So I rushed to get...
super short.
I ended up rushing to get Starship Troopers done, but I ended up missing that show. But I was like, I thought I was running out of time, but really I had an extra week. So it all worked out in the end, and then I missed the show.
Well, I mean, we missed you. I would like to have some of your takes on that, but that's okay. The book next week is actually just basically a speech that got turned into a book, so that the speech is included, and the speech is easily available on YouTube, and you get the gist of the book. Like, you get, like, the entire book.
So all of you who hate reading and just want to watch the movie, there is one available apparently on YouTube then.
Yeah, definitely. Let's first of all, for listener feedback, I want to welcome Philip. I want to thank you for becoming a $5 an episode Patreon. I believe we owe you some stuff, so stand by for some emails about that. And then we'll get into email. So the first one's from Emily. Emily's email is called Random Feedback. Hey guys, just wanted to tell you that I'm enjoying your podcast very much. It is both entertaining and relevant. Unfortunately, I don't really have any feedback issues I can think of that I'd like to address on your listener feedback shows, but if I think of anything, I'll pass it on for sure. My favorite silly part of the podcast is "What are you drinking?" It reminds me of my IDPA safety officer chat group on WhatsApp every Tuesday evening or Wednesday morning before our weekly Wednesday evening club matches. The question gets asked, "What are you shooting?" LOL. Most of us can't even decide until we arrive at the club. We just bring a whole bunch of guns. Anyway, looking forward to listening to the Catalina Wine Mixer. See you this Saturday at Guelph. Emily, smiley face. So, thank you, Emily, for your not listener feedback. And I think I have the same problem at shooting matches. I also don't know what to shoot, except it's probably going to be a Glock because I own a whole bunch of Glocks.
Nice.
They're not good, but they're cheap and they go bang.
I have cheaper tastes than you, I guess.
More diaspora tastes.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Not that I would ever make like a racial joke about finances, but if I were going to, it'd be that one.
Yeah, well, hey, let's put it this way. Price was not the reason I decided to buy the Jericho. I can say that honestly. You know, and my space gun is not the cheapest non-restricted long gun that you could buy, so...
As much as I pick on the Jericho, I think it's actually a fine pistol. The bore axis is pretty low. It's reasonably heavy. It weighs more than my Glocks do.
Right.
I don't love the sights on it, but it's double single, or is it single only?
Double single.
Yeah, okay, it's double single. So the trigger pull is also something I'm not a fan of. That's what I thought it was double single. So,
right.
But I mean, like, for a double single, for a real hammer fire gun, like, it's not bad.
It's a duty pistol. It fits that function, and that's the function it fits. It's not your race gun. It's a CZ75 clone, so you know, nothing special there. Gets the job done.
Yeah, I think there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, I understand they can be difficult to find holsters for, but here you are.
Right, but thanks to Gray Fox for hooking me up for that. So I even have one that accepts my Olight.
Nice.
And that I can say was a cheap option that I made, or cheap choice that I made.
Yeah, $50 flashlight, $150 holster because no one makes one.
Yeah.
All right, let's do another one here. We got an email from John about book club. I bought The Way of Men via the Amazon link. Hope you guys made your nickel. Yes, we did, and thank you. I appreciate that. I already have Starship Troopers. I look forward to the episode. I'd like to suggest The Last Centurion by John Ringo. It's germane to our current COVID situation. The author is a capital C conservative, and his books definitely highlight that bias. It's bias I echo, so I really enjoy his work. Keep it up. Y'all are doing God's work. As Red Green says, remember, you may have to grow old, but you don't have to mature. P.S. If you're looking for a chain-smoking, beer-swilling, undereducated, over-opinionated guest/host, I know a guy. John. And John and I have subsequently corresponded. Hopefully he enjoyed the episode on Starship Troopers. I mean, we enjoyed doing The Way of Men, although my audio was more abysmal than usual, so hopefully we have that sorted out now. I think I'm going to put Last Centurion on the list, because that seems like a good call. And I think we're going to get John on a future episode, because if I'm not mistaken, John has his own podcast. So stay tuned for next month when we do a guest interview. It'll be good times.
Good stuff. Do you want me to take the next one?
Sure, if you don't mind.
Subject: firearms licensing. From King. Hey guys, thanks for the great continual work on the show. What you do think about the law enforcement to be mandatory to have a valid firearms license for both PAL and RPAL licensing? I'm not a license holder, but I've taken the course for personal reasons. For a personal reason, I didn't follow through with getting my license. One of the things, I guess, brought up in the course was that the fact that the Queen's Cowboys and local law enforcement are not mandated to have an actual license. I think this would be a good idea for both firearms owners and police forces to understand the laws and communities surrounding firearms. All gun laws are and infringement should be abolished. So, yeah. What are your thoughts on this, Andrew?
I mean, all gun laws are an infringement. I can get behind that. I don't know if I want to mandate that law enforcement has to have licenses. Maybe we could just make it like, I don't know, if you're a paroled criminal or some sort of felon, you're just not allowed to own guns and everybody else is. Because why do I need a permission slip in the first place? I'm not opposed to the like education for law enforcement officers so that they can enforce the laws both in the spirit and the letter of the law, because like a lot of laws, not just firearms laws, are poorly written and vague and dumb and poorly enforced. I think think that's the case with the vast majority of the laws that are on the books, is that they are not particularly well written laws, and in most cases they are not particularly effective. I think there's some laws that everybody can get behind, but I mean, I don't know that we need them to be law like case law. Like, I think everybody can agree that like murder, as an example, is bad and is a thing that shouldn't happen. There may be some exceptions to that, but as a rule, I think we can agree as a society that like murder is bad. People who touch kids is also unacceptable. Like, there's some things that I think are generally morally reprehensible in a society. Yes. But I think that the amount of case law that we have and the amount of administrative law is overwhelming, and it's not really, I mean, there are definitely aspects of the law, particularly firearms law, that I wish the people enforcing it, the Queen's Cowboys, for example, your local constabulary, had a better understanding of. But I don't think making them take the licensing, like getting the license and taking the firearms course, is necessarily the thing that will make them better informed about the law. Because all I learned how to do was basically not break the law. Right? When I took the firearms course, it didn't really teach me what safe storage was. It just taught me what the bare minimum was to do so that I probably won't get charged, but I might anyway, because nobody knows what the actual law is, and you have to go to court to sort it out at the end of the day, regardless.
Right. It could just be my cynical view of what I took from the email, or it could be a cynical view of policing, that I wonder how many police officers would not qualify for a firearms license.
I feel like the vast majority would, because most police officers, at least at the beginning of their career, are not criminals.
Right.
At least they haven't been caught yet.
So, like I said, it could just be my cynical view of police officers, which may not and probably doesn't reflect reality. But I think that'd be an interesting thing, that police officers or people who are peace officers have to also not necessarily get their license, but qualify for a license on a daily basis.
I would appreciate, again, like, I think all gun laws are an infringement and should be abolished. 100% on board with that. But there are things within the current legal framework that we operate within where, yeah, I would like that if the people enforcing laws had to undergo the same level of scrutiny that I have to undergo to just be a regular property owner.
Right.
Right. So I can get on board with that. Like, yeah, okay, let's make sure that the people in law enforcement are not criminals, that they're not breaking the law, that they're not breaking their oaths of office, that they're not being suspended or reviewed or have other professional missteps, because they should be held to a higher standard than, me, Joe Nobody, that complains about the government on the internet. I'm not sure about the course thing, though, because I don't think that's going to make them better at enforcing that law. I really think we just need to simplify the Firearms Act, really, is the like that's really the hard part because the Firearms Act is incredibly complicated. Not like, say, for example, the Highway Traffic Act isn't, but the Highway Traffic Act is something that most law enforcement officers deal with every day, and they know all the ins and outs of. How often do you deal with firearms stuff when it's like not a criminal?
Right. So that's something I can see being an issue. Like that cost, how much added value do you have to that cost of putting them through the firearms course?
I really don't think it would be that much added cost because, like, when you go to police college, you get a week or two of firearms training, whatever it is. Tacking on another 2 days to do the firearms license course, probably not a huge additional increase in the overall cost of the police college training that you need to get to go into law enforcement in Ontario. I don't know how it works in the rest of the country, but I assume it's similar. I'm reasonably certain it's the same thing if you go to RCMP and you go to depot. I believe it's a week or two of firearms training. I'm going to get like an angry Thin Blue Line email soon because some cop that's listening is going to tell me how wrong I am about this. But I think that it's a week or two of firearms training. Yeah, tacking on a day or two, I don't think is a huge additional cost. I still don't know that it's worth it because the firearms laws are very complex and not clear, and I think that's done on purpose.
Yep, I get that.
I don't know. I would definitely like to at least be having law enforcement held to a higher standard, but the minimum at the same standard, but I would prefer that they were held to a higher standard than what we are as just firearms owners, like things like continuous eligibility screening.
Right.
It's we're held to such a high standard. I'm on board with that for law enforcement because I feel like if you're executing the will of the state, if you have the tin badge of authority, that you should have a higher standard of care applied to you.
Definitely. That's and like I said, that's what I pulled out of this email. That's what I would present to if I were speaking to someone who could make that change. I would say that continued eligibility. If a police officer is not eligible for a firearms license, not to say he has one, but if he's not eligible for one, why is he carrying a gun every day?
I could see that, but at the same time,
brass tacks.
Let me put it another way. My preference would be that we actually, if I meet the standard of care, training, whatever that's required to be a law enforcement officer, why should I not be able to have the same tools to protect myself that they have to protect themselves?
So I agree with you, Andrew. I just don't think that that anyone else will see the double standard there.
Oh no, I know, and I fully acknowledge that that's not the society in which we live. But it's one of those things like, if a law enforcement officer can carry a firearm to defend their own life in the course of their employment when they're executing the will of the state, I just want to be left alone. If I can meet the same qualification criteria, whatever, what have you, that they meet, why can't I have the same tools to defend me in the course of my life? I know it's not going to happen. It's a nice little pipe dream.
Yeah. Should I read the next one?
I'll take it. You did that one. I'll take Patrick's here. Subject is feedback. Hey guys, just started listening to your podcast and I'm enjoying it. I like the content, your takes, and the overall show. Great to hear some content like this coming from Canada. I may see some of you on September 12th with normal guy clothes on. Have a great rest of the week, Patrick.
I look forward to seeing you,
Patrick. I don't know if Patrick is wearing normal guy clothes or if he thinks that I normally wear abnormal guy clothes.
I wonder what his abnormal clothes are. I assume he's normally wearing abnormal.
Kilt.
That'll get. You'll be walking around with a red dot on your chest for sure if you do that.
Yeah, I guess so. This is a good opportunity to talk about this. Benny, are you planning to go to the Integrity March in Ottawa on September 12th?
Unfortunately, it's a Saturday, and I have a prior engagement the day after, so I will not be attending. If it was a Sunday, I would definitely take the day off and go do it, but I cannot take a day off from my religion. Sorry.
That's fine. I might need you to make me up like a plaque or something with a mug and donut on it so that I can protest on your behalf.
Yeah, for sure. We should.
I'll hold up one side for me and one side for you.
But like for all the Jews who can't make it because it's their Sabbath.
Yeah, because it's on Sabbath. I get
for
that.
sure.
Yeah, that's what I said. Like, I'll totally carry a signboard that will, on one side it can have my message, and on the other side it can have yours. I'll pull double duty.
Nice.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go. I think that's the plan anyway. There's a bunch of people going. Gavin's going. Angela that's been on the show is going. Tyler from International Liberty or Death podcast, not that they do a podcast anymore, is going. A bunch of the people from OPMSL are going. A bunch of people from Southern Ontario that I would expect to have normally seen at a service pistol shoot that I was planning to run on the 12th are going. Instead, many thanks to Dave, that's a panelist occasionally on this show. He and another gentleman will be running the service pistol match at Guelph so that I'm free to go to Ottawa and complain to the government in person, which will be a new and exciting thing because I usually only complain to them in writing or on the internet.
It's good to switch it up every once in a while.
Well, I mean, make tyrants afraid again, right?
Yeah, you're definitely earning that red dot on your chest.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, if you're not on a list, you're not trying hard enough.
True.
So I'm gonna go. The Facebook page said there was like 500 people going. I don't know how much I trust that. Personally, I think I've gotten emails something to the effect of at least a dozen people that I know are going. So I feel like it's going to be a pretty good turnout.
So I don't see I don't see it going number wise. I don't see it being bad if there's a couple people. I don't see it bad if there's a huge number of people. I hope it goes smoothly. I don't see it why it shouldn't. We're not the kind of community that, causes a ruckus.
No, I think this is probably going to be like one of the most orderly protests that's ever happened because Tracy will be there with a bullhorn directing people, and
I hope so. I hope
all the CCFR field officers are there. So, like, I expect this is going to be a well-run and professional event.
I hope we have the same standard as the Tea Party in terms of we leave the place cleaner than when we arrived.
So you're saying that you want me to take the trash out while I'm in Ottawa? Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
The chair is not against the wall.
But Tom does have a long mustache.
I will not be seeing you in November.
Okay. So Benny thinks I'm getting put in an undisclosed black site by the Queens Cowboys, but that's fine.
Oh no, the last one, I'll see you in November, was the kill code for Mugabe.
Oh, was it really?
Yes, it's I think it was Mugabe. Some African dictator, okay?
Well, it definitely didn't work out because Mugabe ran that country for a long time.
There were two opportunities, and the go word was "see you in November," and it was never sent. And because of that, I forget which I think it was Mugabe got into power, and that's what happened.
That is incredibly disappointing. And also, Ian Smith did nothing wrong.
Well, that I believe that was a British SAS mission, not a Rhodesian SAS mission.
Well, everybody knows that C Squadron is the best squadron. To iTunes, we've got a 5-star review from I'm Not That Guy. And the title is Look Right! ! I like how these guys discuss topics that I'm interested in and go into the details that mainstream news would never go near. Keep it up. These are actual current events that affect all of us. And thank you. We try to be informed, although we are usually drunk on Monday night. So that might be why the mainstream media doesn't go into it.
Yep. I'll take the next one. Author is 1911 Bry. Title, Top Shooters Pod. Double thumbs up. Review, hey guys, love this podcast. Thanks for all the great work you do and all the great content. I believe that's a clinking of beer steins.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure I know 1911 Bry, and you're welcome.
Is he Australian or South African? That it's 1911 barbecue, or does Bry stand for something else?
I think it's a fellow that I know from service pistol matches.
I see.
Partisan rifle matches. I think it's a fellow that I've shot guns with.
Nice.
He does not have a funny accent from that part of the world, though.
I see. Oh, well.
This is a reminder to talk about the Integrity March. We kind of already covered that. September 12th, Ottawa, 1 p.m., Parliament Hill. Be there. Tell the government to stick their gun laws up their bum. Trying to be more politically correct on the show. I haven't cussed yet.
Nice.
Yet. Tonight.
So if you guys are interested, buy the official Big Luau t-shirt, not t-shirt, on Amazon, so we get some affiliate revenue. I do plan on maybe ordering a second one of those because they fit really nicely, actually, and they're comfortable.
They come in like 4 different colors. You could easily run a different one every day of the week.
Yep. Or just claim I have multiples and run the same one every day of the week.
That works too. If you haven't signed petitions yet, go sign petitions. Petitions are starting to close, so go sign petitions. Benny, where can everybody find you on the internet?
They can find me at bennyloose.ca, where we have speed loaders, hearing protection, a hat or two.
Nice.
Nice. Good stuff.
I'm very supportive of both the speed loaders and the hats and the other things that you have. Hey man, I got to demo those speed loaders. They work once you figure out how to make them work.
Yes. There is a little bit of a learning curve, but once you do,
once you get it, you do it twice and you figured it out. It's easy. So easy, yeah. I can do it.
Yes.
If you've listened to this long, although I don't feel like this episode was a lot of a chore to listen to because it's only going to be 25 minutes. If you've listened this long, you deserve a discount code at ragnaroktactical.ca. Use the discount code Patriot at checkout. And if you live in Thunder Bay and forget the discount code, you can Instagram us, because that happened today. P.S. The chair is against the wall, and by that I mean the package went in the mailbox. Use the discount code Patriot at checkout on ragnaroktactical.ca. Save yourself some money. Buy some body armor. Again, 619 reasons why you might want body armor. We value your opinion. Send your feedback to feedback@canadianpatriotpodcast.com. Let us know what you think, and you might end up on the feedback episodes because we're doing this monthly now. Works out nicely. Gives me a break. Don't have to do show prep. I just talk about whatever you send in. If you don't send anything in, it makes for a short show. I have to apologize to Rod Giltaka. Thought I'm going to try and do that in person on September the 12th. And for all of our listeners out there in podcast land, I would like to remind you that you are the true North, strong and free.